Apparently we have an earthquake going on outside this podcast room right now. Hold on, AJ. We know where we're gonna go when we die. Hey guys, and aloha. It's Mark Sawyer-Chu.
And AJ Ellerington.
Together we'll be hosting the Christian Surfers podcast,
where we talk Jesus
and talk with surfers that love Jesus.
Tune in to hear some amazing stories.
Here we go. Welcome to the Christian Surfers Talk Story and Go Deep podcast, where we talk about Jesus and we talk to people that love Jesus, such as this amazing young lady right here.
Hi.
Miss AJ
I'm so excited
Ellerington.
to be here.
How are you? How are you doing? We're not supposed to talk about where we are right now or what time of the year it is, because this is an evergreen piece of content. Yes, but...
Well, currently as it stands, I'm doing good. I'm enjoying being the age that I currently am, if I can say that.
How old are you?
I'm 18.
You're 18, but you have the maturity of a 32-year-old. Yes.
Oh,
yes.
Why, thank you.
What does your name stand for, AJ?
AJ, okay, so my parents love Spider-Man, and they wanted to call me
Does your dad have Spider-Man undies?
How do you know that?
Yeah, that's a wild guess. Prophecy. I'm prophetic.
So they wanted to call me MJ. They couldn't find a name with M.
Michael Jackson.
No.
Can't name their daughter Michael Jackson.
Mary Jane.
Mary Jane. Oh, yes.
They didn't like a name with M, but they loved Ayana. So Ayana is the first part of the name, and then Jade is the second part. Yeah, so Ayana Jade.
Yeah. Does anyone ever call you by your full name, Ayana Jade?
So I moved to France when I was 8, and when I turned up at school one day, and Marnie had told everyone there that at home I'm called AJ. And so I arrive at school and about 20 kids are like, Agi, Agi, with the most French accent ever. And it was so embarrassing. And so I'm like, no, I'm Ayana. No more AJ for the French-speaking population.
Got it. It's almost like when you're an international missionary family like you guys are, you've got to have a different name for each country. Like when you go to Starbucks, what do you use?
So my mom taught me to use a random name because she didn't want to give out the information.
Yes.
So I'm usually Claire at Starbucks. Yeah, that's my name.
And apparently we have an earthquake going on outside this podcast room right now. Hold on, AJ. We know where we're going to go when we die. What is it like to be the daughter of Richard Ellerington?
Oh, quite the legacy.
Give us the real answer.
The real answer is I would not surf if it weren't for my dad, because he pushes me into most of my waves.
Yes.
So, yeah, I love being the daughter of Richard Ellerington. What about you? I think you just had a couple daughters.
That's right. Your dad inspired me with you, so I was like, Lord, I want to be a girl dad. That's my dream. And I got the double blessing, just like from 2 Kings, Luana. 2.5 and Amai 11 months, and you're hired. You are going to be our full-time nanny and auntie for the next 20 years if we can afford you in
you cannot, but I will come. I would love to. They're the most adorable children ever.
AJ, you have you come from an amazing homeless family. I mean, missionary family.
To be fair, you're right.
That's somewhat true. But I know it hasn't always been easy. In fact, it's extremely difficult, and most families don't do what you guys do. How long have you been on the road, and what's been the most difficult thing for you?
So we moved from the UK to France when I was 8, so it's been like 10 years now that as a family we've been doing church planting and mission around the world. So yeah, that comes with huge blessings, but also a couple, not so great moments where we just kind of break down. We don't know where home is. We don't know where we're staying tomorrow night. All these like just last week, we're in an RV at the moment that we're lending from a friend, and it's just I wanted to make plans with my friends, but I don't know where I'm gonna be. I don't know what the plan is, and it's just like really small things like that get to you on a day-to-day basis, because it's hard to be like functioning in society when you're showering in a car and you're driving to Walmart to sleep and the police are chasing you out. So yeah, there are some tough parts like that, but I wouldn't take anything back. Honestly, it's been the most incredible journey. And to anyone who wants to like bring up kids within like missions and stuff like that, please do it. It will give them so much. Yeah. Really.
You have no shortage of boredom in your family. Every day is an adventure, but you have to be extremely adaptable because you guys are living this nomadic lifestyle for the kingdom. What is the craziest thing that has happened to you in the last few years on the road?
Probably getting locked down in a foreign country where we didn't really know anyone. We didn't know the culture. So yeah, 2020 was South Africa for us. And that was pretty hectic, especially being in lockdown. I think a challenge for me was I had a lot of self-esteem issues during COVID because all I had access to was my phone.
Yeah.
So when all you have is social media and YouTube and those platforms, and when in COVID, like influencers were blooming, but people who were at home, normal girls, I think it was a real struggle. And I spoke to some of my friends around the world and they were like, all I'm seeing is like a bunch of people who don't look like me or I want to be. And so that was a struggle, and that's completely set aside from mission. I think that was just COVID. But yeah, that's
a real personal struggle.
That was a struggle.
How did you cope with that? What would you say to younger girls out there, or girls of any age? Because I think that's a human thing, right? Just naturally comparing ourselves to what we see on social media, and everyone's just posting up this kind of surreal but not real, genuine life. But there's this fake life on social media because everyone wants to be an influencer. What would your advice be to people that struggle with that?
Talk to your parents. I know it sounds super simple, but I didn't tell anyone anything that I was going through because I found it super embarrassing.
Yeah.
Like, how can I, like someone who, I'm a strong believer and I love the Lord and that should be where my identity lies, but in that moment I just didn't want to tell anyone because I was ashamed and embarrassed about it. And then
but you're human as well.
Exactly. In 2021, my dad walked this thing called the Camino. It's like this pilgrimage hike across northern Spain. And I was like, okay, I like a challenge. I'm going to do it with you. I'm going to walk. I'm going to make it to the end. And there was this one day where my dad and I were talking about like, okay, we were so bored. We were like, our legs were in so much pain and we just had to make it to the next town to sleep that night. And we were playing this little game of like highlight, low light. So like, who was your best meal, your worst meal? Like just to get us through the pain of like our physical bodies.
Which one is your worst meal?
My worst meal, anything Marnie cooks is like...
Really? I thought Marnie was an amazing cook.
Okay, it depends. He made this really bad
Just
meal.
Pretend he's not in the room right now. Tell us. Give it to us.
Okay, wait, I'm getting sidetracked. Not a great cook. My mum's amazing, though.
Oh.
I was playing this game with my dad, and he got to worst friend, best friend. Best friend would be my older brother, Marnie. Like, we are very, very close, and I love having
He's awesome.
Such a great role model. And then worst friend, I hope you're not listening. No. It was just this girl who during lockdown, she was like, I don't really want to be your friend anymore. And that was just over messages. She lived in my hometown in France, and that really hit me hard. And then that kind of opened up the discussion with my dad about my self-esteem and stuff. And I just completely broke down.
Yeah.
And then I started opening up to him. And we both were just on the side of a road, completely crying. And he told me, how do you feel right now, AJ? And I was like, bawling my eyes out, I feel weak. Like I feel weak.
Yeah.
And he said, no, you're strong because you opened up and you spoke to someone about it. So to anyone, like,
That's
just
true.
open
Your
up.
dad was right.
And he was like, I don't know what to say to you. I've never had a teenage daughter who's come to, like, this is my first time too, and I don't know how I can help you, but we're gonna pray about it and we're gonna, come through it.
Yeah.
So
this is why you're gonna mentor my 2 daughters.
Oh, I would love to.
Wow, thank you for sharing that, AJ, being very vulnerable there.
Marnie and I, we look up to you. We love talking to you, and we think you're a funny guy. You are the champion at like one line, like humor.
You guys.
Like exactly, And
With the only 2 euros that I have.
oh please, I'm €2 is plenty. We were wondering, like, do you use humor as like a way of connecting with people, or is it more of a coping mechanism? I don't know. I'm just really curious because you're a funny guy.
Well, as I said earlier, just funny looking. I think definitely, this is a good psychology session, AJ. No one's ever asked me that. Thank you.
Well, we are in a library-looking space. It's not very surfy, so I guess we can
These
tap
are all
into
surf
that.
books with theology covers on them. If I could go back in time, I have a hard time remembering yesterday, but if I could go back like 40 plus years, it was probably just, I remember being a little kid in like first grade and just enjoying making people laugh.
Yeah.
And I wasn't a Christian, but I think I wanted to always be a Christian comedian.
Yes.
And I just I love seeing people smile, and I think inherently at my core, that's just kind of who I am. I'm just kind of a goofy person. I can be serious, but I really don't like to. I'd like to just be out there, and a lot of times I would just I love being in the water because I love to hoot on people, and I'd much rather see my friends catch a better wave than me catch one. It's just something there's something about that just fills my spirit. It just fills my soul, and I think I love being that Barnabas. I love being that encourager, but I just I love seeing people stoked.
Wow.
And so I don't know where that came from Jesus.
Well, that's incredible.
Yeah, so come surf with me and take all my waves, and I will be the most.
I'll be there.
Out there. Yeah, I'm opposite of. I won't drop any names out there, but no. Yeah, thank you for asking me that. Yeah.
Yeah. We noticed, my brother and I, just talking to like literally a couple of weeks ago, like, wow, like when you speak to Mark, you can tell like he's really listening to what you're saying. And then we thought, oh, maybe that's because of like you studied communication, right? Communication, or was that no?
I wish I did. I should have. I mean, nowadays in unis and in colleges, they definitely have like digital marketing or majors, but that's what I do for work, sales and marketing and partnerships. But I should have done communications because that would have been.
Oh, you're very good at it.
Yes, and so either that or I'm really good at pretending I'm listening, and I have my
See, we're also wondering, like, maybe we should like ask some questions and like check out if he remembers some things.
Just repeat what you just said. I'm just kidding. I think it came from, being a late bloomer in many facets of my life, and being very shy, being outcasted when I was young because I was this Asian kid growing up in North Dakota, but I was born in Norway, so I always kind of had like this identity crisis. And I always felt like I was on the outside, but I felt like, kind of what you were alluding to earlier, maybe my humor was a crux or a tool, a coping mechanism to help me deal with that like awkwardness in my reality, to come in and just go, hey, I'm here, I'm Mark, I want to make people laugh, and I would like people to like me. Instead of, having grown up and just being kind of the unpopular kid. Like, I don't know how many times I was like the last guy picked in dodgeball. The worst public demarcation.
That is like, why do schools do that? It's
hopefully
like, come
stop
on.
That. That's a horrible thing to do to kids. If you're the first one picked, that's great. It means you're the popular kid. But if you're the last one picked, like I was for so many years, that really messes with you. So I think but God used all that. He kind of turned ashes into beauty, I think. I know a lot of women's ministry uses that verse, but I love using that verse because I felt like that was relevant to me. And so I totally forgot what your question was.
Yeah, me too, to be honest. All I know is, like, upon what you were saying, I can identify with the whole, like, coming from different places and being, like, that third space kid, you know, like, your parents from different countries and you grew up in a place, and you, like, as a young child, I never really thought about it. I was just like, oh, cool, like, it's just who I am. And then the past few years, like, actually the past year has been really tough in that so many people that you meet through Christian surfers and like that, like, where are you from? Like, where's your home? Like, where's your home base?
Yeah, where's your home?
Exactly. Like, sometimes I just, oh no, I'm gonna get emotional. This happened the other day too.
It's okay, AJ.
Yeah, it's just difficult. And no matter how many times I talk about it, it's so hard to, like, thank you. It's so hard to just instantly remember, like, okay, my identity is found in Christ, and what, like, I'm going to heaven one day. Or at least I think I am.
Yeah,
and
definitely are, AJ.
And, you know, where I come from and that kind of stuff, it doesn't matter, like, in the grand scheme of things, but it is just like a daily occurrence where it's like, oh, I wish I just had a simple answer.
Yeah.
So I decided, I'm like, okay, I'm going to tell people, like, the last place that I just was. So when people ask me where you come from, I'm like, I come from the parking lot at Walmart, you know? Or I come from the Mattingly's house.
Walmartian.
Walmartian.
You're a citizen of the globe, AJ.
100%. So, yeah, I really hope that I can find some people who have, like you, who have, you know, had that kind of experience growing up. But I absolutely love it. Like, just today, there were some people, just random people in the water when I was surfing, and they were from France, and they overheard me saying something in French, and they're like, oh, where are you from? And I was like, oh, wow, I can have this whole connection with someone just because I can speak this language.
How many languages do you speak?
Okay, well, 2. But I can understand a bit of Swiss German. Hoi, wie geht's? That's about it. Schnitzel. So yeah, Swiss is a tough one, but I love that culture too. So yeah.
At least you can understand it, and you just were able to do that as something obviously I would not be able to do because I only speak Spanglish. But that is so.
Elaborate. What is that?
Is that
Spanglish?
Spanglish, yeah. It's like tongues. Nobody understands it unless you have an interpreter. So, but I mean, what are the divine appointment for you to be out in Oceanside Harbor this morning? Happened. Yeah, I bet you most Americans out there, probably none of them speak any French, and you were the one that was out there, and you understood, and you were able to talk to those people.
Yeah, it's Merci cool. beaucoup. De rien, avec grand plaisir.
Okay.
Oui.
Yeah. Where do we go from that?
You can now wrap it up.
We're gonna
I think we got everything.
Wrap it up. Guys, thank you for tuning in. What an amazing...
I just need to wipe away those...
Yes, don't let them run down. That's what I do. Probably the first real time I've actually had a chance to sit down and talk to you.
It's crazy.
Know you and about... So this is where it happens, ladies and gentlemen, on the Christian Surfers Talk Story and Go Deep podcast. AJ, thank you so much.
Thank you.
God bless you.
Honor.
Keep your dad out of jail for me.
Oh, I will try my best. I can't promise anything.
If not, I'll come bail him out. We'll see you on to Interweb soon. Subscribe and listen to this amazing lady. God bless you guys.
Bye-bye.
Ciao.